It is a Thursday evening in March, about 6:40, and you are standing over a kitchen sink, holding 4 inches of gray water that has not moved in 20 minutes. There is a fork down in there somewhere and a film on top, catching the light from the window. You ran the disposal, nothing. You ran the hot tap and the water only climbed higher. So now you are doing what everybody does, both hands flat on the counter, doing arithmetic in your head about what a plumber charges on a weeknight. Mi amigo, put the phone down. Do not drive to the hardware store. I want you in the laundry aisle of the grocery store you already shop at. On a low shelf, there is a plain yellow cardboard box, $4 or $5, no skull on the label, no warning about melting your face off. That box has been on American shelves since 1874, 50 years before anybody bottled up the nasty stuff and gave it a frightening name. 1 cup of what is in it will chew through the grease clog in your kitchen sink just as well as the $20 jug 2 aisles over. No heat, no fumes, and no quiet damage to the very pipes you are trying to save. I am going to show you what it is, how to use it in 5 steps, and the one kind of clog it will not touch. Stay to the end, because I will tell you the real reason a plumber will either add money to your bill or walk straight back out of your kitchen. And it has nothing to do with how bad your clog is. But first, let me kill something, because it is why half of you are still standing over a full sink. The baking soda and vinegar volcano, the one everybody swears by, it does almost nothing to a real clog. I will explain why and show you the stronger cousin that actually does the work. Let me introduce myself. My name is Ernesto Reyes. I am 54 years old and I have been building and fixing houses for 30 years. Framing, tile, drywall, rot repair, kitchens and bathrooms. My father put a hammer in my hand when I was 11 and taught me every trick he knew. And a lot of what I am about to give you came from him and from job sites, not from a manual. And I will be straight with you, same as last time, because I do not like anybody pretending to be something they are not. I am not a licensed plumber. I am a builder, a maestro with a truck full of tools. And I have spent 30 years working shoulder to shoulder with plumbers and fixing a few hundred drains myself in the houses I have worked on. Now, many of you found me last time when I told you to pour hydrogen peroxide down every drain before bed. I read those comments, and a lot of you came back to say, the bathroom drains woke right up. Bueno, that makes me happy. But a handful of you said the same thing, and it was always the kitchen. Peroxide, 1 night, 2 nights, 3, and the sink still crawls. That is not you doing it wrong. That is a different enemy. And today it gets the right tool. Before I get you excited, let me walk it back, because I would rather you trust me than like me. This is not magic. A $5 box does not fix every drain in every house. What it does, and does beautifully, is destroy organic buildup, grease, soap scum, food sludge, slimy mats of hair. If something solid fell down that pipe, this will not help you, and I will tell you plainly what to do instead. If more than one fixture is backing up at once, this is not your fix either. But if you have a slow or stopped kitchen sink, Mira, better than 9 times out of 10, what is down there is exactly what this box was born to eat. So let me explain what is actually clogging your pipe, because once you understand it, the fix makes sense. Almost every slow drain I have opened in 30 years is not some mystery object jammed in the line. It is grease. Fats, oils, and grease. On job sites, the plumbers just call it fog. Every time you rinse a greasy pan, a little warm fat goes down, looking like harmless liquid. Then it hits the cooler pipe wall a few feet downstream and does exactly what candle wax does when it drips onto a cold holder. It stops moving. It sets. It sticks. Now think about that over months and years. The grease lays down a coat inside your pipe. Every wash after, more food bits and soap scum catch on the sticky layer. The pipe narrows. It is plaque building up in an artery. The opening shrinks until one afternoon a single coffee ground closes the whole thing. And now you are standing over 4 inches of gray water. In the bathroom, it is mostly hair bound up with soap scum into a mat. But it is the same story. Organic gunk building slow, closing the pipe like a hand making a fist. And here's what matters. All of it is organic, and organic can be broken down chemically without going nuclear on your plumbing. But going nuclear is exactly what the industry sells you. Walk back to that store shelf. The aggressive drain openers come in 2 flavors. The acid ones, straight sulfuric acid, $36 to $78 for the strong stuff. And the lye products, sodium hydroxide, the same chemical soap makers have used forever. Here is what nobody writes on the label in plain English. Both work partly by generating heat. When concentrated lye meets water and grease down in your trap, that reaction can climb toward boiling right there inside your pipe. And heat is a real problem, amigo. That white PVC drain line under your sink starts to soften around 140 degrees, which is about all it is rated for. Rolling boiling water off your stove is 212. So a reaction cooking away near boiling inside a thin plastic trap softens the glued joints, warps the tubing, and on older galvanized or chrome, it pits the metal from the inside. Acid is worse still because it attacks metal directly. I have opened walls in old houses and seen cast iron eaten thin from years of it. And what happens when that harsh cleaner does not work? Because plenty of times, it does not. Now you have a sink full of standing water with acid or lye dissolved into it, just sitting there. That is a caustic soup, and it is dangerous. Hold that thought, because it comes back at the end, and it is the whole reason for the payoff I promised you. And if that sounds bad, wait until you hear who it burns. All right, the box. Inside is sodium carbonate, sold as washing soda or super washing soda, right there with the laundry detergent. Now hear me, because this is the part the whole internet gets wrong. Do not confuse it with baking soda. Baking soda is sodium bicarbonate, and it is much, much weaker. That is why the famous vinegar and baking soda trick does essentially nothing to a real clog. Pour those two together and you get a nice fizz and a satisfying sound. And what you have actually made is a little salt water. The acid and the base cancel each other out. All that energy goes into foam that pops in your sink and never reaches the grease 6 feet down the line. Fun science project, not a drain repair. Washing soda is the stronger cousin, a different animal entirely. Here is the piece almost nobody gets right. Washing soda works for the same reason lye works, just gentler about it. It is alkaline, not violently so, but enough. When that alkaline solution sits against a grease clog, something called saponification happens. Old fancy word for a simple thing. It turns the fat into soap, literally. The grease stops being a sticky, water-repelling plug and becomes soap. And soap dissolves in water and rinses away. Same chemistry soap makers have used for centuries. Only now we run it inside your drain line. And this is the beautiful part. It does that at a strength plenty for grease, but nowhere near as harsh as lye. No violent boiling heat, and it does not attack your metal the way acid does. It is listed safe for septic tanks, which tells you right away it is not scorched earth chemistry. Now the money, side by side. The box is $4 or $5 and gives you the better part of a dozen treatments. Call it 50 cents a treatment. The branded jug next to it runs from about $5 for a small bottle up past 20 for the big size. And it is a 1 or 2 use jug. And if you skip both and call somebody out, a kitchen grease clog runs $150 to $300 for the visit. More if they bring the heavy equipment, 50 cents, $20, $300, and the 50-cent option is the gentlest on your house. So here's how you run it. 5 steps, none of them hard. Step 1, bail out the standing water. If your sink is full and going nowhere, get most of it out with a cup into a bucket. You want the washing soda landing on the clog, not dissolving into a full basin at half strength. A little water in the bottom is fine. You just do not want a pool. Step 2, pour 1 cup of washing soda straight down the drain. 1 cup, not 2, not the whole box. If you have a double sink, do the side that is clogged. Step 3, follow it with about 1 quart of the hottest water from your tap. From your tap, amigo. Not boiling water off the stove. I mean this seriously. Do not pour rolling, boiling water down a PVC drain or into a porcelain fixture. Remember that 140-degree softening point. Boiling is 212. It warps the plastic and cracks porcelain, and now you have turned a clog into a real repair bill. Your hot tap runs around 120 to 140, and that is plenty. Step 4, walk away 30 to 60 minutes. The hardest step in the video, I know, this is not a fizzy trick with a payoff in 10 seconds. The washing soda needs contact time sitting against that grease to convert it. Go eat dinner. Longer is better on a stubborn one. Step 5, flush it through with more hot tap water and watch how it goes down. On a light clog, 1 round does it, and the change is dramatic. On a real grease plug built up over years, Run the whole thing twice or leave a second dose sitting overnight. That is normal. You are dissolving something that took years to build. Now here's what happens next. I have seen it 100 times. For a while, that drain runs perfect and you forget all about it. But the grease never stopped coming. Every greasy pan lays that layer right back down. So here are 3 habits so you never need the full treatment again. Habit 1, the big one. And listen to me on this one, mi amigo. Stop putting grease down the drain at all. Bacon fat, pan drippings, cooking oil. Do not rinse it while it is warm and liquid, because it does not stay liquid. It sets up downstream on your pipe wall. Old can, old jar, let it harden, throw it in the trash. That habit alone prevents most of the kitchen clogs I have ever been called to look at. Habit 2, once a month, before anything gets slow, run a maintenance dose. Half a cup of washing soda, a quart of hot tap water, let it sit 20 minutes flush. You are not clearing a clog, you are stopping one from forming. Cheapest insurance in your house. Habit 3, catch the hair in the bathroom before it goes down. A $2 mesh strainer over your shower and sink drains stops those mats from ever forming. Empty it into the trash. That is the whole job. I have watched a homeowner write a $300 check for a hair clog a $2 screen would have prevented. Do those 3 things in one box last you a year? Mostly just sitting under the sink as backup. Now, one detail about this stuff that if you skip it will leave you standing over a sink that will not clear. Washing soda destroys organic clogs. Grease, soap scum, food sludge, hair, and slime mats. What it will not do is dissolve an object. If your kid dropped a toy down there, if a bottle cap is wedged in a line, if a wipe went down, washing soda is not making that disappear. No chemical will, not safely. That is a physical blockage and it needs a physical fix. A snake or pulling the trap. So if you have run 2 full rounds and it has not budged even a little, stop pouring. You have an object, not grease, and this is important. This is a drain fix. It is not a toilet fix. A toilet clogs by completely different physics. It has its own trap built into the porcelain, usually blocked by paper or something that never should have gone down. The fix is a flange, plunger, or a toilet auger, not chemistry. Do not dump washing soda in a toilet expecting a miracle. Wrong tool, wrong job. Now the safety lines, and these matter more than anything else I have said. Never mix washing soda with anything else. Not on top of vinegar, not with bleach. And this is the big one. Never pour it down a drain that already has a commercial chemical cleaner standing in it. You do not know what you are creating inside a pipe you cannot see. If somebody already poured an acid or lye opener in there and it is sitting, that drain is a hazard now. And washing soda is not the answer for it. One more, keep it off aluminum. Alkaline chemistry reacts with aluminum, so no aluminum drains and no aluminum pot under the stream. 1 cup down the drain, hot tap water, nothing else in the mix. Now the questions I get every time, because your situation is almost certainly one of these 6. What if it drains slow but is not fully clogged. Perfect. Easiest win there is, and the best time to use this. Full cup, hot tap water, let it sit an hour. A slow drain is just a grease layer that has not closed all the way yet. What if I have old galvanized or cast iron? You are fine. And this is one reason I like it for older homes. It is not acid, so it is not pitting your metal. I worked a 1930s house last year with the original cast iron still in the kitchen wall. And this is what I used. Gentle enough to run monthly even on old plumbing. What if I am on a septic system? Also fine. It is listed septic safe and will not kill the bacteria in your tank the way harsh cleaners do. Do not go crazy with the dose. What if the drain is not slow? It just stinks. That smell is almost always the same organic gunk coating the walls and going rancid, so the same treatment handles it. Half a cup, hot tap water, let it sit. It converts the greasy film, feeding the smell instead of perfuming over the top of it. And if the smell comes from a drain you almost never use, it may just be a dried out trap letting sewer gas up. Easier fix. Run water down it to refill the trap. What if nothing happens at all after 2 full rounds? Then you are not looking at grease. Stop pouring chemistry at it. Time to snake it or pull the trap under the sink, which is 2 slip nuts and a bucket. And what if water comes up in more than one fixture at once or backs up out of a floor drain? Stop. That is not one clogged drain. That is most likely your main line. And that is a real call. Washing soda in one sink will not touch a mainline problem, and that is exactly the job where the money is worth spending. Knowing the difference between the cheap fix and the real repair, mi amigo, that right there is the whole skill. All right, the thing I promised you at the top, why a plumber will either surcharge your drain or flat out refuse to work on it, and why it has nothing to do with how bad the clog is. It is that caustic soup. Remember the standing water with acid or lye dissolved into it? When somebody pours a harsh commercial cleaner down a drain and it does not clear, that chemical does not go anywhere. It sits right there in your sink, in your trap, waiting. Now the plumber shows up. I have stood in kitchens and watched this. The second he loosens that trap, or the moment he leans into a plunger, that liquid can come back at his hands, his arms, his face, his eyes. I have worked beside guys who carry marks on their forearms from exactly that. So the good ones look you in the eye and ask you straight out, did you pour anything down there? And if the answer is yes, they either add a hazard charge or make you flush and dilute it and wait, or just tell you no and get back in the truck. Think about what that tells you. That expensive chemical is not only harder on your pipes, it turns a simple job into a bigger, more dangerous, more expensive one, and sometimes nobody wants to help you at all. The gentle yellow box does the same work, and if it ever fails you, all that is sitting in your sink is a cup of laundry booster, not a hazard. Nobody refuses that job, so step back with me, because this is bigger than one box of soda. It was never washing soda versus a jug of chemicals. It is prevention versus panic. And there is no money in prevention. Nobody buys an ad to tell you a $5 box outworks the $300 call and treats your pipes better while it does it. There is no industry built on you being calm. But now you know. Keep it under the sink, run half a cup once a month, and let the other guy pay the 300. My father used to tell me that anybody can fix a thing after it breaks, but the man who gives his house a little attention every month never meets the emergency at all. Poco a poco, he would say. Little by little. So this weekend, get the box and run the treatment on whichever drain has been embarrassing you. Then come back and tell me what happened, because I read every single comment and answer as many as I can. Next time, I will show you how to pull the P-trap under your sink and clean it out by hand without flooding the cabinet. 2 slip nuts and a bucket. About 15 minutes, and it is the exact next step when the chemistry did not finish the job. Easier than you think, and it is the repair that makes you feel like you own your house. If this helped you, hit subscribe so it finds you the night you need it. Quiet me, amigo, and go take care of your house.